nominees for Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role in a Musical.
Okay, oh my god, okay.
Christian Borle, Some Like It Hot.
Work.
J. Harrison G., Some Like It Hot.
Yep, work.
Josh Groban, Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Expected.
Brian Darcy James, Into the Woods.
Oh, work.
Ben Platt, Parade.
Yes. Oh my god! 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 I just want to say up front, I am sorry if the audio y'all can hear like people outside. My mother was very nice and got me a super fancy microphone, and I have been very lazy of trying to figure out how to actually use it. Once I get off my butt and figuring that out, we'll have better audio quality. Fingers crossed. But besides that, hello, my name is Emma. I am a theater actor, director, human being, and I love talking about musical theater. I am one of those musical theater nerds that really annoyed people in high school, and I decided to make a YouTube channel to chat about musical theater and all about its fabulous and unfabulous ways. Yeah, that was me trying to do an intro. Did that work? Are you still here? So they announced their Tony nominations on Tuesday, May 2nd. A lot of interesting results. I was kind of surprised that Some Like It Hot just completely took over the nominations, and the 3 shows tied behind it have like 4 less nominations. Usually it's a bit more balanced, from what I remember anyways. This is the first time that I'm actually covering the Tony Awards and watching the Tony Awards for the first time in a while. Long story short, I got a little bit pissy when I watched the Tony Awards in 2016 because it was basically Hamilton on Hamilton on Hamilton, and it just made me cranky, and I decided to boycott the Tonys. I don't know what I was doing. Anyways, but I've also never watched the Tony nominations be announced, but I had a hunch that I should be watching these, and I was right. I was so right. I love being right. I'm gonna leave the list down in the description below. I actually did, this is me retaping this video because originally I went through all the categories, and since I haven't seen most of these shows, the majority of my reaction was, I can't give an honest opinion about this category because I haven't seen any of these productions. I've only seen one of the shows that have been nominated. I'm really hoping that I get to see them before the awards ceremony on June 11th. But for now, I kind of want to talk about things that I noticed, things that I'm excited about, things that makes me a little bit murmur. And yeah, let's just dive into it. So first things first, this is something that has been in the talks for, I think, probably since the beginning of the year, where it comes to how are we able to represent gender nonconforming, non-binary actors at the Tony Awards, since the categories are very binary strict. I don't know. We have 2 gender nonconforming actors who were nominated, one for a leading role in a musical and one for a featured role in a musical. I believe it was Alex Newell who said that they decided to be considered in the Best Actor category just because that's the title in terms of being named as an actor or an actress that they felt more comfortable with. And it also makes the most sense to me because I feel like actor is a much more universal term, while actress is just very strict to binary birders. I actually prefer to go by actor. I don't like actress. It just sounds bleh to me. Not to give shade to anyone who does call themselves an actress, like you go girl, Glen Coco, love that for you. But it's definitely, I've been in conversation about how do we just able to represent everyone and be able to assess everyone's performance who wants to be considered for a Tony Award. For example, a non-binary performer in Anne Juliet decided not to be considered for a Tony Award because they did not feel comfortable with either category, actor or actress, and they just decided to step out. It's definitely something that's being discussed. I have no idea what the solution is for it, but it's definitely something that has been coming up within the last year. It also looks like that there are 4 shows from this season that were not considered, well, not considered, but weren't given nominations whatsoever, which was the Broadway revival of Dancin', Bad Cinderella, the revival of 1776, and Beautiful Noise. I'll be honest, I'm kind of surprised that 1776 didn't get anything. Granted, I did hear that it's, I don't know, I've heard some people liked it, I've heard some people don't, but I just found that really interesting that it wasn't considered for anything. Bad Cinderella, I really was assuming that Andrew Lloyd Webber would get a nomination just because it's Andrew Lloyd Webber and they didn't even do that, and that's all right, okay, cool. I don't know anything about Beautiful Noise except that they raised $500,000 for the Parkinson's Foundation recently, and I'm like, yes, I love that. You go and keep doing that. Another thing that surprised people was Aaron Sorkin was not nominated for Best Book of a Musical. I noticed probably a month or two ago when it came to figuring out what shows were eligible and who was eligible for which category. The Tony Award Committee did say that Aaron Sorkin will be considered for a Best Book nomination, but he was not given that, and it's probably because Camelot was not open to great reviews. I would say I'm not surprised just because it's Camelot, but at the same time, I'm curious as to why. I am hoping to see the show. It's kind of crazy because like I feel like that this had such a big buildup for so many years, and then it finally came to be, and it just came out as meh. So I'm hoping to see it, and if I do, I'll let you know my thoughts about it. Another thing I found really fascinating is that Bartlett Sher was not nominated for Best Director of a Musical. I feel like Bartlett Sher is like known as like the dad of the dad director of musical theater at the moment, because he helped direct Fiddle on the Roof, My Fair Lady, King and I, South Pacific. Kind of like shocked me a little bit that he wasn't nominated for Camelot, but I guess it just looks like it was so highly competitive this year that he just did not make the mark. Okay, I'm back. My battery died and I had to change it. And also finally, the one thing that I found really interesting was that 3 out of the 4 musicals that are nominated for Best Revival this year, they all are transfers from New York City Center, which if you don't know about City Center, and if you want me to elaborate more about it in another video, please let me know in the comments down below. New York City Center is known for putting on a season of shows that aren't done as much nowadays. For example, that's what led to Chicago ending up getting a big resurgence, because it was a city center production and then it was transferred to Broadway. So the fact that 3 out of 4 of the musicals this year are our transfers is really cool. I really hope that this continues, because New York City Center performances are only for a weekend, and that means only a small percentage of people are able to see the production. I just think this is a great way to make it more accessible. Granted, seeing a Broadway show at all is expensive as all get out unless you win lottery tickets, but I digress. Another thing that I'm very happy to see is that K-pop was nominated for 3 categories. Me and many other people in the community were very frustrated with how it was received and that it had to close so soon, but to see the fact that, you know, the Tony Award Committee recognized that it was, you know, a good show, top quality, top notch, and able to give them a nomination in 3 different categories is pretty flippin' wonderful. Somehow Almost Famous got a nomination for Best Original Score, but I think that's because it's Tom Kitt, and how can you not be madly in love with Tom Kitt? I was a little bit surprised that Kimberly Akimbo didn't get more nominations. It has 8. I was assuming that that was gonna be the runner-up. I've heard a lot of good things about that show, and that's what I'm assuming is going to be the big winner this year. Although it's been very interesting. I actually read an article, I think yesterday, of an interview with 3 Tony voters, and they all gave their responses and their input about certain categories, and some of them are actually saying that they really are kind of rooting for Anne Juliet and New York, New York. And Kimberly Akimbo was there as well. So it's very interesting to hear everyone's, you know, perspective and thoughts about these things. The Broadway revival of Parade got nominated for 6 Tony Awards, and y'all know that I am going to be cheering on for that show like nobody's flippin' bippin' business. It's actually the only show that I've seen so far out of this entire list of musicals that are nominated. So at least I've seen one. I'll be very interested to see who wins Best Actress, just because I'm all for Michaela Diamond. I just want Parade to win everything. It sounds like that when it comes to Best Revival and any nominations that is included with the Best Revival win might go to Into the Woods or Sweeney Todd. I've heard Sweeney Todd is mind-blowingly good, and believe me, I am trying my butt off not to pay a full price ticket to see that show. I need to see more of these shows so I can give a better idea and a better assumption, and I'm hoping to make more informed opinions about each category, and I hope to chat with y'all about that later on. I also find it really cool that I actually know 3 people who may potentially be performing at the Tony Awards this year. Demarius Copes, who's in the ensemble of Some Like It Hot, Dan Maldonado, who is a swing in And Juliet, and then, which is the thing I want to talk about the most, Colton Ryan, who was nominated for his performance in New York, New York. And I was reading this article and they were saying that Colton is a pretty strong front runner, and I'm like, I want Ben Platt to win because it's Parade, but I would not be mad if Colton Ryan won his first Tony Award. So I should probably give some backstory so y'all aren't confused as all the get out. I have worked with Colton before. I first met him when we both did summer stock in the New London Barn Playhouse back in 2014. We were both interns that year, and he was 18 years old. He turned 19 during the contract. He's very sweet, very kind, so funny, and just so incredibly humble. It's just so mind-boggling to see where he came from and then seeing where he is now, and he's only 27. So to see all of this growth and success coming out from him within the last 9 years before even turning 28, it's really, it's just awesome to see. It's really exciting. I'm really excited for him. I knew the minute when I first saw him perform in the Straw Hat Review. That's basically a little cabaret review that we do at the beginning of the season to kick it off at the New London Barn Playhouse. He sang What You'd Call a Dream from Diamonds, which is basically a musical review all about baseball, and they had different songs from different composers written, and What You'd Call a Dream was written by Craig Cornelia. I'm assuming the reason why Colton ended up finding it was because Aaron Tveit did a concert at Studio 54 in 2013 and they recorded it and he performed that song, so I'm assuming that's how it got into Colton's radar. I could be wrong, I don't know this for a fact, but seeing him perform that, almost everyone was in the wings just to watch him perform that song. It was really beautiful, really special. The fact that he was able to be so vulnerable and open to us at such an early stage in our 3 months of hanging out with each other nonstop, it was really wonderful to see. And I just knew, I like looked at him and I was like, you're gonna be fine. I just thought you're gonna be fine. And I only had that thought about 2 other people, which was Catherine Allison, who was also an intern that year, and Talia Saskauer, who was an intern the following year in 2015. And all 3 of those have at minimum 2 Broadway credits under their belt already. So it's really cool. I know someone who is nominated for a Tony Award. I didn't even like realize that that was gonna be a possibility until, you know, it was getting to be May 2nd very soon, and I was thinking, oh, it would be fun to watch the nominations, and I didn't realize that they do like a little preview during CBS mornings, and originally I wasn't gonna watch that. I was just gonna wait for all of the nominations be announced, but I had a hunch that I would have regretted it if I didn't watch that segment, and I'm very happy I did, because seeing Colton's name and his face pop up was it's just unforgettable. It's really special, and it's just the beginning for him, and this is turning into a Colton Ryan fan club video, basically. I'm gonna pass the question on to you. Have you seen the Tony Award nominations? What do you think? What are your thoughts? Let me know. Are you happy? Are you grumpy? Who did you think was gonna get nominated? Who did you think should have gotten nominated? The one thing that I was a little bit miffed about was that Adriana Hicks, who's in Some Like It Hot, she was not nominated for her performance. And Anna Zelli, I know that I'm saying that wrong and I'm so sorry, she also wasn't nominated for her performance in New York, New York. A part of me kind of wished that Sarah Bareilles didn't get a nomination and it should be one of those two ladies instead, but I digress. I think it's a very interesting layout of nominations. A lot of people in the design categories got double nominations. Scott Pask got 2 nominations in scenic design. Natasha Katz got 2 nominations for lighting design. And Jennifer Weber got nominated twice for best choreography, which is really, really neat. I think it's gonna be a fun night. I think it's gonna be a fun time. And, you know, I hope that all my dreams come true and Parade wins everything. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you are new here, please feel free to look around some more. I've done some reviews on some productions. I've done video essays on various people and shows. If you like this video, give it a like. And if you would like to subscribe to see more videos in the future, click the subscribe button. May you be happy, healthy, safe, and at ease, and free from harm, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!